for a financial gain, they illegally took my granddaughter from me, and this all orchestrated with CYFD. What CYFD was supposed to do is
Okay, we're back. I'm attorney Vince Davis. This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Aaron Carranza, and we have another co-host who has joined us, Amanda Cisco. Amanda is one of the hosts of the Thursday night show on civil rights, right, Amanda? Oh,
Can you hear me?
Okay, now we can hear you.
Okay, great. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And you know what, Aaron, I haven't given your show a plug. You have two shows. You have a Tuesday night show on family reunification and motivation, and you have a Friday night show with the therapist, Mr. Hamilton, Brian Hamilton, the real victims of CPS. So I'm glad.
That's right, at 7 p.m.
I'm glad both of you have joined me this evening. Ladies, we have a pretty full call screen tonight. Let's talk to Erica from New Mexico. Erica, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
I have a story to tell.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so back in February of this year, my granddaughter, she's 8 years old, and her father was shot and killed as a state police officer. And we've always been 50-50, me and the father, the custody of my grandchild, due to my daughter having some, problems that she needed to, work through. I was given guardianship of her, but it was just for a rental agreement for housing at the time. Okay, so since the child was 3 months old, she lived with me the first 3 years of her life because they had domestic violence issues. Okay, so the father was never on the birth certificate up until 2019, making the child 7 years old. So I was on my way to get my granddaughter, and they had found out, the paternal grandparents found out that she was her father's beneficiary. And for a financial gain, they illegally took my granddaughter from me, and this all orchestrated with CYFD. What CYFD was supposed to do is go into my town and help me fill out a package of kinship guardianship so that I could become the foster parent to my granddaughter. Mm-hmm. Because the law office that was going to represent me had a waiting list, and it was urgent because I was the only one who was authorized to make any health, school, any kind of decisions in her life. And they did the total opposite. They sent me a relative of the paternal grandparent, a relative to the grandfather. I had not seen my granddaughter or had any physical contact with her since February. So I reported her as a missing child. On the day that I reported her was May 19th. They screened in this application, and they said, yeah, that it's that these, grandparents shouldn't have her. So what they did to me in the court is they I guess they violated my due process right because they didn't state a fact. Okay, so they didn't state a fact in the case. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when I went in and I filed a court case against them, And they told me that I didn't have standing in the court. I needed a piece of evidence. So I went in with a piece of evidence off of the father's insurance saying that I am the responsible party of the little girl until she's 18 years old. You know, in the state of New Mexico, because I did comply with the child support, you know, because I was receiving benefits for my granddaughter, they were marked as absent parents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then I get standing in the court, only for the judge on April the 22nd. He heard all the fraud. They've disposed of my evidence, all kinds of things. The clerk even gave 3 pages of evidence to the grandmother. Okay, so what's been taking place since then is I've been a victim, like, of government gang stalking, where I can't call the police because they say that they have to route all my calls to the state police, which I feel that they're a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all my calls get routed over there. I've already filed motion after motion after motion after motion since April. Since April, they haven't objected to anything. They haven't nothing, but what they did is they consolidated my case to the lawsuit that they were putting on my daughter,
mm-hmm.
trying to get the custody. So what they did is they gave an ex parte, like an emergency order of guardianship. My granddaughter was not abused in any way, shape, or form. You know, she wasn't being, you know, hurt. She had very good care. Me and her father have raised her very well. So now here's what's happening is that I went in there and I told them their attorney said that they didn't want me a part of the case because they felt I didn't have standing. Well, the judge told them on April 22nd, well, we cannot dismiss her from the case because you guys failed to state a claim that she, in fact, the minor child did, in fact, have somebody that was making decisions on school, medical treatment, you know, everything, all types of aspects of her life. When they said that they had custody of my granddaughter since March 3rd of last year, I said, okay, I said, that reflected on the record. I said, how could that be? I said, so you mean to tell me that from March 3rd, 2020 to August 17th, 2020, they flew my granddaughter 6 hours to her school in Carlsbad? I said, please stop this. I have the school records. So now what we got going on is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children advised me that the only way that they could help is if I went and I put in for an emergency pickup order. I did that on May 19th, and 19 minutes after I left the courthouse, they put a bogus warrant and bogus charges on me for harassment. They're doing anything just to deprive me. I mean, I can't even get an attorney because I got one. He got all the evidence, gave it to them, and then filed a conflict of interest.
Is the case in New Mexico?
Yes.
Did you, I don't know if you were listening earlier, Erica, that I referred someone to the Department of Health and Human Services to file a complaint with the federal government, and then the U.S. Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division. Have you thought about doing that?
I have filed reports everywhere, even with the governor and with Congress.
Okay, so
I've even gotten with my
2 minutes.
everything.
Okay, Erica, I specifically said, though, the Department of Health and Human Services. Have you filed a complaint there?
No, I haven't.
Okay, please do. And please consider filing a complaint with the U.S. Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division. Okay?
Okay.
Because if they accept the case, they will do an independent investigation with social workers and, expert witnesses, and they will get to the bottom of it for you. It sounds like what you need is a really good CPS attorney in your state. And I don't know how many you've called, but you need to start letting your fingers do the walking and start calling people and asking them, can they help you and represent you in this case in New Mexico?
Yeah, and they would say I would probably need one like out of state that practices in New Mexico because how it's being like orchestrated.
Right. Well, listen, I still want you to call, okay?
Okay.
Okay, call 50, 75 attorneys. And if you don't have any luck, I want you to call me back at my office, 888-888-6582.
Hey, before we let go, I have a question. How can we tell the difference between the local Department of Health and Human Services and the Federal Department of Health and Human Services?
The ones,
When we're
it's located in Washington, D.C.
okay.
Okay. All right. Erica, thank you for calling. I appreciate you calling in and listening to the show. Please call us back in 3 or 4 weeks. Let us know what's going on. Ms. Cisco, we're going to have to take a break right now for messages, pay some bills. This is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. We'll be right back after these messages.